Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing a video review for The Walking Dead Season 3, Episode 1, the premiere, called Seed. Wow, was it amazing. Now, the first thing I want to say is that this will contain spoilers. So anyone who has not seen the episode yet, you probably don't want to watch this review yet. I don't want to ruin anything for you, although I won't mention any names and specifics about anything in particular that happens with regards to a certain character in this episode that gets messed up pretty bad. So everyone else leave for now, and come back later after you've seen it. So how was the season premiere in comparison to the other premieres that we've had? So okay. The season premiere for Season 2, What Lies Ahead, I thought was an amazing episode. Probably one of the best in all The Walking Dead. This episode, I would say that it was on par with that. Very similar to it, very close to it in terms of action, in terms of excitement and, fear and the horror and everything. And about halfway through this episode, I was kind of feeling like this isn't that great. Yeah, there were some good action scenes, but, yeah, it's okay. But then, as the group starts to get closer to going inside the prison, and we start to see, tons of walkers everywhere with some of them with the, police SWAT gear type uniforms on with the helmets and everything. I thought that was really interesting when they're trying to, kill them, and it's like, oh, that's not going to be as easy. That's going to be a lot harder because you can't obviously just hit them in the head. They got these helmets on. And then, of course, Maggie with, I think, is probably the zombie kill of the week. Where she kind of tilts the one's head back and stabs it up through the bottom of its throat there, on its neck up into the brain. Man, I thought that was really cool. Now, there was a lot of great zombie kills in this episode. I mean, a lot. I was counting at one point. I'm like, to see how many zombie kills there was in the episode. And I lost count somewhere at around 20, 25. There's probably around 25 or 30, good zombie kills that we get to see in the episode. So it was stellar. I mean, compared to Season 2, it's right on point with it, right? I don't think this was perfect because there was a little bit of a lull in the middle there that, I was kind of like, not sure if it was really, it's okay. But then at the end really paid off for the premiere. And I'm just stoked for Season 3, man. 16 episodes is really a treat to get of this kind of show. Obviously, they're not all going to be as action-packed or as, intense as this episode was. But you can't have a show like that where every episode is this intense like this. It can be half or close to it. But the premiere, obviously, and the finale leading up to that and at the beginning, really going to be exciting stuff, in the series. The episodes in the middle probably slow down a little bit. Maybe near the mid-season finale, it'll get really great again. But there should be, a few slower episodes in between. But that being said, I did love this premiere. Did I like it better than What Lies Ahead? I'm going to give it a tie. I'm going to say it's a draw. And the reason why is because this episode was only 40 minutes. Last year, the premiere was actually like an hour and 10 or 20 minutes, something like that. Like, it was a solid 60-minute episode, I think, and then they had commercials, so it went over it, which was strange to see. I don't know why they did that this year, just having it at 40 minutes. So a tie, even though the one had more time than the other, that means this one actually is probably better in terms of time. That being said, let's get right into it. Let's go over it step by step. So at the beginning, we end with Beside the Dying Fire. By the way, anyone who watched the marathon, that was really cool how they just led it right up to it. And then, like, timing just perfectly, we end and we start, right after the end of Beside the Dying Fire. And it really felt smooth. Like, it felt like, it was all not even different seasons. Because sometimes you watch some shows and it's like, oh, this is a new season. All the characters look different. They all, they don't look the part or whatever. Their hair's longer. Maybe they gain weight in the off season. Stuff like that happens. This was perfect. Everything felt smooth and really transitioned well into, this season. Then it zooms in on the zombie eye that we see and kind of, or zooms out, I should say, from the zoom in on the zombie eye. And we see the little small house that a couple walkers are just kind of aimlessly standing around in. And boom, right away, excitement right off the bat. Rick kicks down the door, shoots the one in the head. That was a great kill, too. One of my favorites as well, because it just happened like you're just watching it, and then boom, right away it kills it. And T-Dog with the, what was that, like some kind of like iron, not like a crow, I don't think it was a crowbar, some kind of like iron thing that he stabbed the other one with. That was cool, too. And it looks like that's where the scene was. There was a picture that was shown a while ago of Carl in a kitchen. And I was wondering where that came from. Well, now we find out that there's actually been an 8-month, I think 8-month time skip between where Season 2 ended and where the characters are at now. And I'm going to say a couple things about that. Now, they skipped winter time. If you guys don't know that, they skipped winter. But they kind of have to. They really don't have much of a choice about it. Some people would say, oh, it's not as good as the comic book because in the comic book they had the wintertime and it felt more real. But the thing is, you got to think about the logistics of it. They can't really shoot during the wintertime for the Walking Dead television series. They can't do it. You know, if they did do it, we would have to probably wait another year to get the third season. And I'm not down with that at all. I want my Walking Dead like right away, man. So I'm happy that they did that and that they didn't try to, you know, mess around at all or do anything because it just wouldn't have worked. You know, really, it wouldn't have worked. CG and stuff that wouldn't look good, especially on a TV budget. You know, trying to do a wintertime thing, a time skip is the best way to go. We get the show back at the beginning of mid-October. We don't have to wait an extra year so that they can film during wintertime. It works out perfect, absolutely perfect. So that's fine, whatever. And another thing it does too is Lori, of course, like as soon as I saw her, I was like, "Whoa, Belly! Her belly's like huge," you know, like she's getting to the end now of her pregnancy. So that's interesting too, a development there. Also, too, since we've had a lot of characters dying at the end of season 2 and this kind of stuff, it makes it feel to us like people aren't dying all the time. You know, they did survive for 8 months going around on their own, and everybody was okay. Now the show picks back up, and we're starting to get to some critical moments here. So it doesn't feel like the characters are just dying rapidly. They are surviving, but then, you know, they're running out of food. They have to take risks in order to, you know, sustain themselves. Otherwise, they won't be able to. So that's that. So holy prego, Lori, she's huge. The dog food bit was kind of cool. No, and I liked how it was silent at the beginning. Like, nobody's saying anything. Carl finds the dog food, and you know, Rick takes it, and he's all pissed off, and he throws it, whatever, because obviously it tastes terrible. But actually, you could eat dog food, and I'm sure, you know, it would have nutrients that you could survive on if you had to. It just probably would taste terrible. And they're all just kind of looking around, and you know that they're just thinking to themselves, "Oh, great, dog food, seriously." So I like that, how they seem like, you know, after 8 months of doing this, like a well-conditioned like strike force almost, you know, like kick the door down, boom, shoot this one, the other one stabs this one, going through, you know, grabbing everything, closing the door behind, you know, it's just everything seemed like a SWAT team, like a zombie SWAT team. That's what it was. So yeah, so that's that. I like the new intro. The new intro we got to see was great. I thought it was really cool. I am a fan of the intro from last season where we get to see the, you know, Lori and Rick and the pictures and Shane and all that kind of stuff. The new one's cool too. It's just a lot more of like environment. It doesn't have that emotional feel to it like the other one did last season. And I think the first season did too, to some extent, have stuff like that. Yeah, it did, now that I remember. But this one still, it's new, it's fresh. We already saw that one for a long time, so it's good to get something new. And I like how it shows the environment really well. Like how they've really just gone, speaking of environment, the prison from inside looks amazing, man. I mean, I saw the behind the scenes stuff of it, but I didn't think it was going to look that good, and it looks stellar. As soon as they walked in and I saw it, I was like, wow, that's amazing, man. It just looks like even better than the comic books. It really does. Like the comic books, the drawings and stuff, you know, it looked really good, but seeing it like this is like, you know, wow, man, it looks like a movie. It's just really, really well done, everything about it. So there's that, yeah. Okay, so the herd, they're mapping out where the herd is and where they're going to go and, you know, what's going on with that. So that was cool too, that they've got to double back, and then they go for a walk, Daryl and Rick, and they see the prison. And I like Andrew Lincoln's acting there, where his face just lights up, like he just kind of like, you know, just like sees his prison, and he's like, oh my God, this is like our savior right here. You know, this is going to be what we need exactly. You know, he's just lit up. So I really like that a lot too. That was cool. Then of course they attack the prison. And a lot of stuff we'd seen in pictures before, but it was really nice to see it all flesh out together. Lots of great kills. Beth killed the zombie with a crowbar. You had Glenn just wasting them. There was a real cool one where Glenn stomped on the one's back and smashed it with whatever he had, like long rod pole or something, and right through its head, like he pinned him down, and that was cool too. And then a couple through the fence. You got like a couple of them. And then they decide that Rick's going to be the one after they, you know, to run instead of Glenn, which I thought was really cool too. Then they relax for a bit out, you know, inside their small, safe, fenced-off part that they've used, those hook things, whatever those are called, to keep the fence together. And we get the singing part with Beth and Maggie, and oh my gosh, I was like, oh, this is terrible. So, but you know, from the trailer, it was the same thing, and I was like, oh my God, it's terrible. Anyway, so after that, also too, which is cool in that part, you had Daryl and Carol are talking to each other, And they kind of mentioned Shane there for a minute. They're kind of like talking about him, and she says that she doesn't think Shane would have ever gotten him that far as far as Rick did or has. So that was pretty cool too. No, I love that every time they only mention Shane, because I think going forward, Shane in the TV series, now that he's not there at all, he's definitely a character that a lot of people will miss. I mean, I miss having him there already, you know, and I think he's a really interesting character. Not having him there already is kind of whatever, you know. He's a real cool character to have. So that's that. More, you know, reminiscing and thinking back when they get a chance is always welcome when it comes to Shane. So that's cool. One of my favorite characters for sure. Then they go in further to actually get inside the prison physically itself. And they decide they have to go hand to hand. They choose a small group out of everybody. Maggie is a part of that group, which was strange. You got Rick at the front, and they're just killing walkers left, right, and center. I loved how, you know, Rick's talking about formation and stuff. It's just, that was really well done. It looked really good, really cool. All the zombie kills were amazing. Some of my favorites would have been Rick at the front of the group, where he's just like, you know, with his machete just hammering down the zombies. And then the ones that come out with the masks on, like I said earlier, Maggie kills the one after. Did you see that? That was cool. And then the others are like, oh yeah. And then they start doing the same thing, almost like it's a technique you get down. So then eventually they get inside the prison. And let's see. Oh, I forgot about some Michonne clips. So you have Michonne and Andrea, just to get that out of the way real quick and talk about that for a minute. Andrea's sick as hell, it looks like. Michonne's walkers, her pet walkers, look really cool. This is the first time we've heard Danai Gurira, who's the actor from Michonne, actually speak. And I thought she sounded great, like really cool. Just like as you would expect her to from the comic books. I don't know why it stuck out to me. It's just like, oh, this is the first time I've heard her say anything as in character. So it sounded good. Everything was cool with that. And she's kind of been taking care of Andrea, or they've been, you know, partnered up and kind of taking care of each other. And she's still got her pets with them. Also, which is cool, is that she uses her pets to carry her bags. So she puts her bags on them, got a chain like a dog and pulling them. And they're carrying around her, you know, all their stuff for her. So that was cool. So they're out on the run. So they'll probably run into Merle maybe next episode, or pretty soon they'll run into Merle and some of the governor's group and somehow land there pretty shortly, probably within the next couple episodes. So that's all I really have to say about that. They get inside the prison. The prison looks amazing. They're in C block. You can see all the cells, really cool. You got a bonding moment between Beth and Carl, which was a little bit weird, because I thought Carl was too young for Beth. But I don't know, whatever. But Herschel tells him to get lost, which was funny. And then, of course, the group decides, okay, we're going to go out, you know, and see what else is in the prison, what else is, try to find food or whatever. And here's the part where, you know, spoilers are going to come up. I don't want to ruin this for anyone. I won't say the name of the character, but, man, that was crazy when that certain character got it, man. When he got bit like that, I was like, oh, my gosh. It was surprising, really surprising. But I did predict, if you guys remember, I made a prediction video about it, and I said that I think this character is going to die first. Who will die first? And I called it, and it was right. Absolutely. So that was cool. Also, the fact that it kind of was a throwback to the comic books, because in the comic books, that happened to Dale. In this, it makes sense that it wouldn't, if Dale's not there, it would happen to that character. So that was great. And that, for me, really lifted up the episode, was the ending, because I thought the ending was so exciting, where you had that lull in the middle and everything. It was just a great episode. Absolutely stoked to have The Walking Dead back. Awesome stuff. Week to week. Best show ever, man. Best show ever made, guaranteed. At least in my opinion. Then they meet another group of survivors. And actually, there's quite a few of them. I think, I didn't count them, but I thought there was like 5 or 6 standing there, and they just see him out of nowhere at the end. Really good, man. Really, really well done. Great stuff. Let's see if I forgot anything. All right, I'm going to give it a 9.5 out of 10. I thought it was almost perfect, only with the lull in the middle. Aside from that, it was amazing. Lori freaking out was funny. And the ending was really intense, man, with it being dark everywhere like that. And then that certain character getting bit like that. Wow, man. Will he survive? I think it's interesting to find out. I hope the character does, but I guess we'll see. Anyway, that's it for this video, guys. I'll see you for the next one. So glad to have The Walking Dead back. The premiere absolutely did not disappoint me whatsoever. It paid off 100%. It was well worth the wait. Absolutely awesome stuff. That's it for this video, guys. See you next week. It's Trev, saying peace.